he posed as a U.S. Marshal. Is that correct?
Senator, I don't know.
Seriously?
Senator, I've read about it in the media.
Be serious here. This is like incredibly controversial.
Hey there, Patriots. Welcome back to the channel, where we cut through the noise and talk about what really matters in America. If you love freedom, the Constitution, and the truth, you're in the right place. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and let's dive into what the mainstream media won't tell you. Now, today, folks, we got another classic example of the left's political theater in action. I'm talking about that Senate hearing where Senator Welch spent minutes grilling Mr. Meredith over the controversial pardon of Patrick Baker by Governor Matt Bevin. You might have seen the clips. If not, don't worry, I'm going to break down what happened, what's being said, and what's really going on.
I think it is. Mr. Meredith, I want to ask you about these pardons, and I know you've been asked about it, but my understanding is that Mr. Baker, he posed as a U.S. Marshal. Is that correct?
Senator, I don't know. As I told Senator Durbin, I did not review any pardon file for Mr. Baker and did not advise the governor on that. So I'm not aware of the facts and circumstances.
Seriously?
Senator, I've read about it in the media.
So you're aware?
Well, I don't know the specifics of what you're talking about. I generally know that an individual with that name received a pardon, but I don't know the facts and circumstances of any of.
I'm asking you whether you know that he posed as a marshal.
I do not know that, Senator. I don't know that. I know that he was convicted. Well, my understanding is that he was originally convicted of a murder, I believe, but I don't know the facts and circumstances, Senator.
I mean, this was widely reported in Kentucky. It was very controversial.
Well, Senator, that was, I think this was in the news maybe roughly 5 years ago, and you know all the details that were reported escaped me.
Senator McConnell said that this was completely inappropriate. Are you aware of that, to pardon him?
Senator, I recall that many elected officials made comments about that. I don't remember specifics.
You know what? You're a lawyer.
Yes, sir.
And you understand specificity matters, right? I'm not asking you what you knew from personal experience. I'm asking you what everybody in Kentucky knew. This guy posed as a marshal. That was widely reported, right?
Senator, again, you're asking me about facts that I just don't know about. I don't recall that from the report. You might be right, Senator. I don't know.
You know what? Be serious here. This is like incredibly controversial. I mean, so much so that Senator McConnell called it out as completely inappropriate. Everybody knew about it. This guy posed as a marshal. You're saying you don't know about that, even though it was widely reported. He murdered somebody, right?
My understanding, Senator, is that he was convicted of a murder.
And he killed the man's wife. He held this person he killed, he held his wife, that man's wife and his kids at gunpoint, right?
Senator, I don't know. You're asking me about specific facts and circumstances.
In 2017, a state jury found him guilty.
Senator, I understand that it's my understanding that he was convicted, but you're asking me about facts and circumstances that I'm not aware of.
All right, I'll pretend you're telling me the truth, and I'll enlighten you as to what happened. In 2017, a state jury found him guilty. He got a 19-year prison sentence, right?
Senator, again, I don't know all the
just
facts
take
and
it from me. We'll just assume I'm telling the truth. And he got a 19-year sentence. In 2018, Baker's brother, that's the man who was pardoned, hosted a fundraiser at his home for the governor, Matt Bevin. You work for him, right?
I was in the counsel's office in Governor Bevin's office.
All right. So when I asked the question, did you work for him?
Yes.
Is the answer yes?
Well, I worked for him in the governor's office while he was governor.
So you worked for
him? Correct.
And his brother hosted a fundraiser, and Governor Bevin got $21,500, right?
I don't know. I have seen in the media.
All right, I'll let you know that's what happened.
Okay.
And in Governor Bevin's final days in 2019, he pardoned Mr. Baker.
I
And-
have seen media reports to that effect.
Right. And he had served 2.5 years of his 19-year sentence. So let me just ask you this. You agree with that pardon?
Senator, I did not review any pardon file for Mr. Baker. I didn't advise the governor on that. That's a discretionary function belonging to an executive
we
branch
all know
official.
that. The governor can do what he wants. President Trump can do what he wants with the pardon power. I'm just asking you, do you agree with it? The guy shot somebody in front of his wife and kids. He got a 19-year sentence. He served 2.5 years. His brother gave a $21,500 contribution to the governor, and lo and behold, he got a pardon. Do you agree with that?
Senator, I'm not aware of all the
All
facts
right.
and circumstances.
While you were
And-
the governor's counsel, there was a subpoena to get the records so that people could understand what the deal was on why this murderer got a pardon. And you resisted the subpoena, right?
Well, no, Senator. So what happened was, several of us. No, I did not. I told the governor's office I'd be happy to respond to that. As
Well,
soon as
the records went missing, as I understand it.
that's not true to my knowledge, Senator.
Well, where are they?
Well, my understanding is that the governor's administration currently has them.
And they resisted the subpoena while you were working as counsel for the governor.
No, I don't believe that's true, Senator.
But I see my time is up and my answers are not complete, but I can ask some follow-up questions. Thank you.
So here's the deal. Governor Bevin, a Republican, issued a number of pardons in his final days in office. One of those pardons was for Patrick Baker, a man convicted of murder. The controversy? Baker's brother held a fundraiser for Bevin, raising over $21,000. The left-wing media, and now Senate Democrats, are trying to spin this into some sort of pay-for-play scandal. Senator Welch hammered away at Mr. Meredith, who, by the way, was serving as counsel in Bevin's office back then, asking if he knew every little detail about Baker's case. Welch kept repeating that these details were widely reported. He wanted Meredith to admit that he knew about the fundraiser, the conviction, and all the rest. Meredith, like any good lawyer, stuck to the facts. He said, "Senator, I did not review the pardon file. I did not advise the governor on this. I don't know the specifics." And you know what? That's the right answer. Because in this country, we have due process, and we don't just assume people are guilty of corruption because of what the media says. Let's talk about what's really happening here. The pardon power is one of the oldest executive authorities in the book. Presidents have it. Governors have it. It's a check on the system, a last resort to correct injustices or show mercy. Sometimes it's controversial. Sometimes people disagree with the decision. But it's completely legal and totally constitutional. Look at history. Bill Clinton pardoned his own half-brother for drug charges. Barack Obama commuted the sentences of hundreds of drug offenders. President Trump pardoned political allies, and the media lost their minds. But when Democrats use the pardon power, it's restorative justice. When Republicans do it, it's corruption. Give me a break. Now, about the fundraiser. Is it a good look? No, let's be honest. Optics matter in politics. But unless there's real evidence of quid pro quo, which, by the way, nobody has produced, it's just speculation. The left loves to smear their opponents with innuendo and half-truths. They want to destroy reputations. They want to kneecap any conservative who dares to challenge the system. Let's not forget, folks, that Governor Bevin lost re-election. The Democrats took over. If there was some massive cover-up or criminal conspiracy, trust me, the new administration would be shouting it from the rooftops. Instead, what do we get? Senate hearings, grandstanding, and a bunch of Democrats acting like they're starring in a Netflix drama. And I want to say something about Mr. Meredith. The man handled himself with class and composure. He didn't take the bait. He refused to speculate. He stuck to what he knew. That's what we want from our public servants. Not people who just say whatever the mob wants to hear. Here's the bottom line, folks. The left doesn't actually care about justice. If they did, they'd be talking about the real scandals. The weaponization of the DOJ, the open border crisis, the two-tier justice system where Antifa rioters get a slap on the wrist and Trump supporters get thrown in solitary. What they care about is power. They care about controlling the narrative. They care about taking down anyone who stands up for conservative values, for due process, for the rule of law. Was the Baker pardon controversial? Absolutely. Should we look into questionable pardons, no matter who gives them? Of course. But let's do it with facts and evidence, not media spin and partisan witch hunts. So, what do you think, patriots? Was the Baker pardon a scandal, or just another case of the left blowing things out of proportion? Drop your comments down below. Let's have a real, honest discussion, not the kind you'll see on CNN. If you appreciate this kind of analysis, do me a favor, like, subscribe, and share this video. We need more voices standing up to the leftist smear machine. And as always, stay free, stay strong, and God bless America.